is speaking. For your voice with the accent, it's extraordinary. How are you, my brother?
I am well, and I hope you are too.
Yes, I'm fine by the grace of God.
Great. Well, first let's start with because of course the comment that was made by Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh has attracted a lot of attention. First, what is your own take on it? Is the outrage that has been expressed justified?
Yes, it is. But good morning to your listeners and good morning to your viewers on Facebook. Good morning to Ghanaians. Yes, it's justified. It is justified because of the person that he spoke about. You see, the issue here is that Mathew Opoku Prempeh, Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh, who is also my nephew, spoke like a typical person who belongs to the NLM UP tradition. They don't like Nkrumah, they don't respect Nkrumah. But no matter what you do, Nkrumah is who he is. So on that score, you would have expected something like that from him. But to say the way he said it, to say it the way he said it, then turned into denigrating the person. A person like Nkrumah. I mean, that one, everybody, his own people, I believe, didn't like it. And the issue was that he was going to continue to say something else, mention more names. But I think he himself pinched himself and stopped it. Also, the fact that he said that since 1957, no government has done better than His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Then it means he's also saying that J. Akufo, who is his grand uncle, hasn't done well. It becomes unfortunate because government is the continuum. And I mean, within the Fourth Republic, we know who has done well and who has not done well. So that statement was very, very, very unfortunate. Overall, even his body language on the stage, at a point, I think he was even beckoned by a note that he should end the talking. But he just ignored it, folded it, and put it in his pocket. So the people, whatever Ghanaians are saying, is justified. He made comments about load shedding, that there's no load shedding. I thought that at that point, he could have used the opportunity to apologize for whatever happened with the load shedding, like with the Doomsaw, and the fact that he didn't bring a schedule and whatever he said. But he didn't. He rather said there's no load shedding, and he went on and on and on. And I believe that Nana Addo too didn't help. Because when he came to speak, he also said there's no load shedding. So he didn't expect him to come and say there was load shedding or there is load shedding. Because the way Nana Addo spoke, that was also some form of background. And everybody knows what has happened with Nkrumah, with this UP NLM tradition, this particular one. Because, for instance, the 2 CDs, that had Nkrumah's effigy on it, has just vanished from the system. They've turned the 2 CDs into a coin, and on that coin is, an effigy of the Flagstaff, the Independence Avenue. So it is so clear that he was also satisfying a group of people who perhaps have helped in his becoming the running mate to His Excellency Bawumia. But the most difficult one for me to understand is that he was advised by Otumfuo that he should make sure that the tag they have put on him does not come true. And he goes back to do what he did. To denigrate Kwame Nkrumah is not beautiful. It is not the best. Because Kwame Nkrumah has done a lot for this. He's an African icon. Can you go and stand at AU if you want to be? Let's assume you become, in an unlikely event that happens, that you become the vice president of Ghana. You go to AU and you go and denigrate Nkrumah. Nobody would tolerate that. And especially denigrating Nkrumah in your country, Ghana, the man who gave us independence. Kwame Nkrumah has done so much in terms of development. Even the free SHS that Napo is saying that he did it and he did well, the foundation, the blueprint of that free SHS is from Nkrumah. The school that he went to become a medical doctor, Kwame Nkrumah built it. You get me? The energy minister that he is, Kwame Nkrumah set the foundation for electricity to come to Ghana, the Akosombo Dam. Do you understand me? So even in all his achievements, you have Kwame Nkrumah's footprints gathered all over. So why do you come denigrating Kwame? Besides, Kwame Nkrumah is not the one your team is going to compete. There are so many others. There is Ayariga, there is His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. They are the people that you have to concentrate on. There is Sheda, there is Alan. To mention Alan, whatever he said concerning the people who have left with anger, certainly, zoning in on Alan. He said something like if the back of your teeth, it doesn't taste very well, you have no choice but to lick the back of your teeth. In Tree, he said, we'll see a chinya with the one out of it, but it doesn't work that way anymore. I am saying that if the back of your teeth is not sweet or it doesn't taste well, there are so many ways to clean it. Then it means there is tartar, it means there is some gangrene growing there. So you have to go to the dentist to clean it up. And it's also added to the fact that no matter what it is, the Ashantis have to vote for MPP. It doesn't also stand that way anymore. Because if the Ashantis are not happy, if they are not doing well, I don't think that they should still vote for MPP because you have to vote for MPP. That it is part of you. Your teeth is part of you. It is the chewing organ in your body. That is digestion, because if you don't chew your food properly, it doesn't digest properly. So your teeth is key. So you are telling me that if the back of my teeth is not sweet, I should stay there and let it rot and I'll continue licking something that is not good. No. That is even an insult to the Ashantis. That no matter what it is, whether good or bad, stay with us. That is unfortunate. And I believe that the Ashanti region, where I come from also, to take a cue and do something differently this election. Because if you are unhappy, you are not supposed to stay in your unhappiness. If something is wrong in your body, you go to the doctor to check it and make sure that it is corrected. So this time, the Ashanti should correct whatever is happening to the Ashanti region, which is not good. The shops that burnt in the KJTR market, what has the government done about it? What has the government, helped them to do with sanitation? They said insurance, all these things. What have they done? The economy in Ashanti region, what has happened to it? People cannot sell as they used to sell anymore. It used to be the food basket. Now, one tube of yam in Ashanti is 50 cedis. Can you imagine? It's never happened before.
A tube of yam?
Yes.
50 cedis.
When you go to Kumasi, even in Accra, how much is it? When you go to Kumasi, Accra, one tomato is 5 cedis, 7 cedis. One piece of tomato. 7 cedis. They'll tell you with season. Meanwhile, the government has a program called Planting for Food and Jobs. The economy in Ashanti region has collapsed. So if somebody stand in front of us and tell us that, oh, no matter what, it's unfortunate. So, I mean, all these things that happen, even the body language, it didn't really go outward. But also, there are arguments that because he was on a political platform and all that. But you need to check. We've all been on political platforms. We all address crowds. We're all politicians. But you need to check yourself. Because if he really understood history and where he is coming from, his own grandfather, the Prempeh II, was a friend to Kwame Nkrumah. The person who has chosen him as a running mate, whatever has made him who he is a stock of Kwame Nkrumah. Mumuni Bawumia was an appointee of Kwame Nkrumah. And that is Bawumia's father. So to talk about Kwame Nkrumah, you need to be very careful. But Napo wasn't careful. And I think going forward, if he has to stay in the position as running mate, he should know that he's speaking to Ghanaians, a multitude of 18 million voters, and even more. He's not in the Ministry of Energy where he can talk down to his staff and get away with it. He's not in the Ministry of Education where he can talk down to his people and get away with it. No. Right now, there is Ghana that he's facing. So he needs to be careful how he speaks. And he needs to also take advice. Because if the whole Ashanti king has told you A, B, C, D, and you go back and do something else, and even the next day, I thought that they would let it lie. He came back and also justified it in the region of Kwame Nkrumah, Western region. If Western North wasn't carved out of the Western region, it is part of Western region. You go and stand in the region of the person and justify that you are speaking the truth. That is the highest form of disrespect for the memory of Kwame Nkrumah. His own region. I mean, that is wholly unfortunate. In these things, in crisis management, in communications, in PR, you let it go. And gradually, maybe you come back to come and apologize or find another opportunity to apologize. But you don't, even if you go speak about it, then you go and justify it in the person's region. That one is something else.
Because there are now questions about why he did it. You were even talking about the fact that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah will not be on the ballot paper.
Yeah.
So there were questions about why would you take on Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in that manner when your opponent is clear. Your main opponent is John Dramani Mahama and is who you should be comparing yourself with. Has that thought occurred to you? Why Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's name will come up in an election many years after he's died?
Apparently, genetically, when you check the DNA of the JANTUAH, Buzia, Domo, NLM, they hate Nkrumah. And Napo is not a mix. There are some people who are a mixed breed in the MPP. Because maybe they came from CPP into MPP, they came from maybe from somewhere with no tradition. But Napo is a breed. Do you get me? He is a thoroughbred UP MPP, from the tradition. He's not a mix. He doesn't know anything else about the UP. So from generations to generations, the story has been told. So he wanted to line up everybody and talk about them. But I believe that he was even going to mention his granduncle's name, but he choked. He choked on it. He stopped. I believe the next, because if in his mind he was going to mention the name of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama or anybody else, he would have continued.
You thought that the next name was former President Kufuor?
Yes. Why did he stop? That is when he checked himself and realized that this one, if I go there, is disastrous. Do you understand? Because if it was His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's name on his mind, it would have been easy if it was, even if he had been able to mention Nkrumah the way he did. It would have even been easier for him to add more denigrating words to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Ayariga, whoever, APC, CPP, everybody. Because he started with the CPP. So if he was going to continue with the other, Shedda, Alan, everybody, it would have been easier.
He would have finished them.
He would have finished them. But he had in his mind His Excellency J. Kufo. But then he noticed that where he's standing, he cannot come and say that. He knew he couldn't say that in that arena of Ashanti region to denigrate J. Kufo. Then that would be your end. Do you understand? So he is paused. But once he has paused, then he couldn't go back to mention the others. Because he was going to line up in succession. After Kwame Nkrumah would have been JA, then continue.
But even if he did not mention his name, is it not implied in his comment that he's done, President Akufo-Addo has done better than any government since independence? That
he didn't mention it, but he implied it. But to mention it would have been worse. Because if he implied it, then I need to go, whoever needs to go and guess or decode or look into the mind to see what he was trying to say. But now, no. I mean, once he didn't mention it, it's safe. It's by implication. He can say that he didn't mean that. He didn't mention J. Kufo. If something is implied, it is very difficult for you to pin him to it. That is implied. Because every time, yesterday somebody was making the argument that they always say the Fourth Republic, they don't go as far as this thing. And then Kwame Nkrumah. But everybody knows, you see, you don't need to come and tell me that somebody has done well or not. If somebody has done well, it should show. The current MPP government will tell you you've done projects more than any government. Where is it? Because continuation of somebody's project is not the initiation of your project. That project is not yours. Somebody initiated it and you continued. Because John Dramani Mahama started so many projects that he didn't finish. Most of them, they didn't even continue. It is the one that is, glamorous, that they continue. Look at Saglemi. They have allowed Saglemi to rot. All the things in there to go bad, thieves to come and steal. Now they are going to get an investor to go and build. Can you just imagine? When they came, what was left to do with Saglemi? It was not too much money for people to occupy. They have allowed it to rot. And when you complain, they said, oh, Saglemi, the matter is in court. Is it not still in court that today you have found an investor to come and work on it? I mean, what kind of life is this one? Yes, and what did you say?
Well, I wanted to conclude with you by asking you this. This is the view, and I know you are a royal yourself. There's some
noises going on.
Yes, I understand. I understand, yes. Is it better?
Yes, better.
Okay. The Otumfuo is careful about the things he says. I've been listening to him over the years. But in this particular instance, these are the thoughts of a political analyst called Dr. Joshua Zato. He says, okay, I think the MPP had one objective in Kumasi. It was to cause shock and awe. It was to show brute political force, and it was to show that their support in Kumasi is not shaken and will not be shaken. And they achieved that to perfection. Continues. And in achieving that, they also achieved other things that were not overtly advertised that we all knew they needed. The MPP wanted an endorsement from the Asantehene and Mensah, and they got it fully from Mensah and no other person than Asantehene himself. Did you consider the Asantehene speech an endorsement of the new patriotic parties?
No, what did he say? I watched it on TV, and what I remember was a caution. Is there any other thing that he said that looked like an endorsement? It looked like a caution. And that is what I saw it, that I have heard ABCD. I did not bring you up like that. But if it is like that, make sure it does not happen. And do not let His Excellency Bawumia regret picking you as his running mate. Does that look like an endorsement? I saw that more as a caution. And I mean, that is somebody from the palace. I mean, typically, traditionally, that is the Otumfuo's grandson, because Napo's grandfather was Mathew Prempeh II, who was also an Asante. So he was cautioning him. If any one of us of that family was taken to him in similar circumstances, he will caution. If any other person, Otumfuo is very cosmopolitan. If any other person who wasn't even from there was taken to him and he's heard something, he would caution. And I believe that whoever is taken to him in that capacity, he would endorse the person. And I don't think it is particularly because it is Napo. He is a chief, he's a king. And he's supposed to be neutral. And I don't see anybody that he had rejected that had gone to him. If any political, we went to see him and he received us. He received us and advised us, advised the CPP that it is time for us to do ABCD. I mean, he advised us here. We spent so much time there. You understand? So any person who goes there, I think that it is not an endorsement. And even if it's an endorsement, when people vote, they don't vote because somebody has endorsed the party. And number two, Naomi Atu went there and came out and said that he's a son to Otumfuo. Do you understand? Do you remember?
Yes.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama goes there. Nanado went there and he told him that if he said he's done so much in Ashanti, he should show us. Okay. Yes, so I believe that he was taken there. It was an advice, and Otumfuo is cosmopolitan. Whoever is taken there, I believe that, I mean, to be the same. I thought that when Professor Jane was picked, even though she was taken to people in the Cape Coast, to the chief, they should have also taken him to see her to see Otumfuo, because with her name, it means she has some antecedents to the place. Now we have an Opoku Ajimai and an Opoku Prempeh. Do you understand me? Okay. And she speaks impeccable Chi. So whoever is taking there, I believe he would embrace that person. Okay. And the whatever happened there, it was a euphoria. I mean, I don't know what the professor is saying. It is when the crowd is dispersed and when you go to the ground, that is when you would know. Because with this one, so many things go in there to get the crowd. Okay. But when the crowd is dispersed, that is when you would know actually what the real story is.
Okay. Nana, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
You are welcome.
Nana JANTUAH is former General Secretary of the Convention People's Party, speaking to us.